Despite his controversial departure from the UFC earlier this year, Mokaev remains determined to force his way back into the promotion's plans, and he delivered a statement performance that will be impossible for matchmakers to ignore. The former UFC flyweight contender captured the Brave CF Flyweight Championship with a devastating head kick knockout that left opponent Gerard Burns unconscious just 8 seconds into the second round of their co-main event clash at Brave CF 100 in Bahrain. The victory showcased exactly why Mokaev remains one of the most talented 125-pound fighters in the world, even without the UFC banner behind him. After establishing control in the opening round with his elite wrestling, Mokaev needed barely a moment in the second frame to unleash the fight-ending technique, a perfectly timed head kick that immediately rendered Burns unconscious and solidified Mokaev's claim to the Brave CF title. Following the spectacular finish, an emboldened Mokaev declared himself the best flyweight in the world, clearly aiming his message at the UFC brass, who decided not to renew his contract after his final victory at UFC 304. The undefeated fighter now holds wins over notable UFC-caliber competition, including Manila, Alex Perez, and Tim Elliott, building a resume that would present a compelling case for any title challenger. With UFC flyweight champion set to defend his title against Joshua Van next month at UFC 323, Mokaev's spectacular knockout serves as a timely reminder of the dangerous challenge he could pose to the division's elite. While his immediate future may involve a potential champion versus champion showdown against Brave CF bantamweight title holder Borislav Nikolic, the haunting power of that highlight reel finish will linger in the minds of UFC decision-makers as they consider which fighters truly belong on the sport's biggest stage. The brewing showdown between newly crowned middleweight champion Khamzat Chimaev and former title holder Sean Strickland is generating compelling analysis from those who know both fighters best, with former champion Luke Rockhold suggesting Strickland presents the most difficult stylistic challenge for the undefeated title holder. During a recent appearance on the Jackson podcast, Rockhold delivered a technical breakdown that casts doubt on Chimaev's ability to implement his dominant grappling game against the unorthodox Strickland. "I hate to say it, but Strickland should win a fight, and he's probably the toughest test for Khamzat," Rockhold stated. "Strickland is annoyingly hard to hold down. He's not that good on the ground, but he can get up, and that's the biggest thing with Khamzat, he cannot keep him down." Rockhold pinpointed the crucial variable that would determine the fight's outcome: Chimaev's adaptability if his wrestling is neutralized. Khamzat has got to get comfortable on the feet. If he can't keep a guy down, it could be tough. The former champion also highlighted the unique psychological element at play, noting that the fighters' shared training history plays a role in both their heads, adding another layer of complexity to the potential matchup. Strickland himself has been vocal about his confidence in such a fight, framing it as almost a personal vendetta. "Because I'm the only one that beats Chimaev," Strickland declared to MMA Weekly. "Chimaev knows this. His cap knows this. Everybody fucking knows this, dude. I'm the only one that fucking beats you." His conviction stems from his self-proclaimed status as the one fighter who can withstand Chimaev's relentless pressure. "I've wrestled with all the guys that he's going to fight, and he's just going to steamroll them," Strickland added, suggesting that other contenders lack the specific defensive wrestling and durability to survive the champion's onslaught. Currently, Strickland is targeting a fight with the surging Anthony F. Fluffy Hernandez, whom he has nicknamed the American Chimaev. A victory over Hernandez would not only re-establish his position as a top contender, but also serve as a proving ground for the very skills he believes would neutralize the reigning champion. This sets the stage for a potential blockbuster title fight that pits Chimaev's explosive, finishing prowess against Strickland's durable, defensively brilliant, and mentally unshakable style, a clash that could define the middleweight division for years to come.
Paddy Pimblett is growing increasingly frustrated with UFC lightweight champion Ilia Topuria, accusing the title holder of intentionally stalling negotiations for a potential blockbuster showdown between the two rivals. In a newly released video on his YouTube channel, The Baddie didn't hold back his feelings about the champion's reluctance to commit to their long-simmering grudge match. "Just want to get a fight," Pimblett stated, clearly agitated by the delay. "All Ilia's ever done is talk bad about me, saying I'm weak, saying I don't deserve to fight him. After his last fight, I got in the cage and he pushes me. Think it's happening and now he's stalling. He's not saying yeah to the fight, he's stalling." The Liverpool native pointed to what he sees as a logical inconsistency in Topuria's position, questioning why the champion would avoid what he's publicly characterized as an easy matchup. "If I'm this and that, lad, why wouldn't you just want to take an easy fight and beat me then? Step up," Pimblett challenged, before invoking boxing legend Mike Tyson with a direct message to Topuria: "Sign the contract, big boy." The public call-out adds another layer to a rivalry that has been building for years, culminating in their tense face-off immediately after Topuria's championship-winning knockout of Charles Oliveira in June. While UFC CEO Dana White has expressed interest in the matchup, no official announcement has been made regarding Topuria's first title defense. The lightweight title picture remains crowded with legitimate contenders. Justin Gaethje has been vocal about deserving the next shot, even threatening retirement if bypassed. Meanwhile, Arman Tsarukyan remains in the conversation, but must first navigate his main event clash with Gan Hooker in Qatar later this month. Pimblett himself brings considerable momentum into the discussion, having delivered a dominant third-round TKO performance against former title challenger Michael Chandler in his most recent outing back in April. As the waiting game continues, Pimblett's public challenge puts significant pressure on Topuria to either defend his throne against the outspoken Brit or face accusations of ducking one of the division's most popular and dangerous contenders.
In a major shakeup to the UFC featherweight title picture, the promotion has officially booked two pivotal matchups that will determine the next challenger for reigning champion Ilia Topuria. First, in a highly anticipated clash of surgeon contenders, the explosive Diego Lopes will face the undefeated English standout Lerone Murphy at UFC 324. This matchup pairs two of the division's most dangerous finishers. Lopes, coming off a spectacular first-round knockout of Jean Silva, has quickly established himself as one of the most must-watch fighters in the organization with his aggressive finishing style. Across the cage will be Murphy, who boasts a perfect 13-0-1 record and is fresh from his own impressive knockout victory over Aaron Pico. The winner will position themselves at the very front of the line for a title shot. Meanwhile, former longtime champion Alexander Volkanovski will begin his official journey back to the top against the undefeated grappling sensation Movsar Evolev at UFC 325. This marks Volkanovski's first fight since losing his title to Topuria and represents perhaps the toughest stylistic challenge of his career outside of championship bouts. Evolev, maintaining a pristine 18-0-1 record, has systematically dominated every opponent put before him with his suffocating wrestling and relentless pressure. For Volkanovski, a victory here would silence any doubts about his ability to reclaim the throne, while for Evolev, it represents the signature win needed to finally secure his long-awaited title opportunity. These two matchups create a clear playoff-like structure in the 145-pound division, effectively establishing a #1 contenders bracket while champion Ilia Topuria awaits his next challenge. The outcomes will not only determine the immediate future of the featherweight division, but could set the stage for championship matchups well into 2026. Weeks after his shocking TKO loss to Brendan Allen at UFC Vancouver, a defeated and physically compromised Reinier de Ridder has provided a troubling and deeply personal update on his health,
revealing he's still struggling with severe symptoms that extend far beyond typical post-fight recovery. In a stark admission, the former title contender confessed he still feels like shit and becomes noticeably winded from simple daily activities like climbing a single flight of stairs, pointing to a deeper, systemic medical issue that completely compromised his performance in the main event. The physical collapse that led his corner to throw in the towel now appears to be the culmination of a training camp plagued by warning signs that De Ridder, in his own words, foolishly ignored. "I fucked it up big time," De Ridder admitted with striking candor during his interview with Submission Radio. He described a vicious cycle of overtraining, where he felt slow, very run down, very tired after every session, during every session, yet his determination to secure a long-awaited title shot drove him to push even harder. This wasn't an isolated incident either. De Ridder revealed the same troubling physical feelings had surfaced during his previous camp ahead of his victory over Robert Whittaker, suggesting a recurring problem he had mistakenly believed was resolved. "It's something that I've struggled with in the past with the second Anatoly Malakin fight, and I thought I fixed it, but apparently I didn't," he explained, connecting his current struggles to a previous loss. While extensive blood work has now provided some answers, identifying significant underlying problems, De Ridder is walking a tightrope between transparency and career preservation. He's deliberately remaining vague about the specifics, fearing that full disclosure would eliminate any chance of securing the rematch he desperately wants. "I don't want to be too specific because then I'll never get a rematch," he stated, acknowledging the strategic reality of his situation. His immediate future is now one of rehabilitation rather than competition, as his primary focus shifts from fight preparation to a fundamental repair of his body. The middleweight contender faces an uncertain and likely lengthy timeline for his return, leaving his hard-won position in the title picture in jeopardy while he works to solve the physical puzzle that so dramatically derailed his championship aspirations.
Former UFC middleweight champion Chris Weidman has opened the door to a potential return to combat sports, though the landscape of his future appears more likely to involve boxing gloves rather than 4-ounce MMA mitts. In a candid interview with MMA Fighting, the man who famously dethroned Anderson Silva to become king of the 185-pound division revealed that while he maintains his love for competition, the financial realities of post-UFC life will likely dictate his next move. "I can't see MMA happening if I'm looking at the landscape of MMA right now outside of the UFC," Weidman stated, pointing to the economic challenges facing fighters not signed to the industry leader. "I don't know if I'd be able to get paid the type of money I'd want to get paid to put my body through that again." The 39-year-old veteran did leave a slight crack in the door for an MMA return, but only under very specific conditions that would make the physical toll worthwhile. It would have to be the right fighter. Guys that I have history with, like a Luke Rockhold or something like that, Weidman explained, referencing his longtime peer and former champion. "It would have to be really good money. I don't know MMA is there right now at point to do something like that." Weidman's comments suggest his competitive future lies primarily in the boxing ring, where lucrative paydays for veterans of his stature remain more accessible. "I think boxing probably has the best chances of delivering those types of purses and stuff," he acknowledged, reinforcing the financial pragmatism driving his decision-making process. Despite the calculated approach, the fire of competition still burns within the former champion, who remains active in training and confident in his abilities. "MMA, listen, if I get the right call with the right kind of money and the right opponent, I love the game. I love to compete. I'm still in the gym all the time. I love training. I think I'm still really good, so why not?" Weidman's measured perspective reflects the difficult transition facing many veteran fighters who still possess the skills and desire to compete, but find themselves navigating a marketplace that often fails to properly value their names and legacies. A pivotal welterweight clash between former champion Leon Edwards and surging striker Carlos Prates has captured the attention of the MMA world ahead of UFC 322, with fellow standout striker Michael "Venom" Page offering his detailed breakdown of the compelling matchup. The bout serves as a critical juncture for both fighters' careers. Edwards, who famously dethroned Kamaru Usman with a legendary head kick knockout in 2022, looks to rebound from recent setbacks against Belal Muhammad and Sean Brady that have somewhat stalled his momentum. Standing across from him will be Carlos, who spectacularly rebounded from his first UFC loss with a devastating spinning back elbow knockout of Jeff Neal at UFC 319, instantly establishing himself as one of the division's most dangerous offensive threats. Page, who currently holds a top 10 ranking in the middleweight division but maintains keen interest in welterweight affairs, recognizes the stakes for both competitors. "This is an exciting fight that I'm definitely going to have my eye on," Page told UFC on TNT Sports. "I feel Carlos is an amazing, new, exciting fighter, somebody I'm happy to fight." While expressing interest in facing both athletes, Page was particularly candid about the potential significance of a future matchup with his countryman Leon, noting, "I want to fight Leon, somebody I've already vocalized about wanting to fight, just because of the magnitude of what that would mean in the UK." In his technical assessment, Page suggested that, despite Leon's recent struggles against specific stylistic challenges, the former champion holds distinct advantages in this particular pairing. Leon's been on a bit of a decline, but against a specific style of fighters. "I think, again, people are going to underestimate him because of that," Page observed. The Bellator veteran foresees a primarily stand-up battle, but believes Leon's well-rounded skills could prove decisive. "This here will be a stand-up fight. I do not see Carlos being able to even go towards the ground, but in reverse, I do feel like Leon has the better ground game. We'll be able to take him down, we'll be able to nullify him a little bit and actually beat him up on top just to slow the fight down a little bit." When pressed for a prediction, Page ultimately leaned toward the experienced former champion, though he acknowledged Carlos's fight-ending capabilities. "I feel like it's leaning toward Leon. There could always be a surprise spinning elbow, a crazy kick that Carlos has the ability and the power to be able to pull off. But Leon is tough, man. He's not a person that you're going to kill easy at all, so it's definitely heavily in his favor for me." The matchup represents a classic clash of styles between Leon's methodical, technical striking and grappling arsenal against Carlos's unpredictable, highlight reel offense, making it one of the most intriguing fights on a stacked UFC 322 card that features 2 title bouts at Madison Square Garden. Charles Oliveira has his sights set on yet another piece of UFC gold. This time, Max Holloway's BMF title. After rebounding from his title eliminator loss to Islam Mokaev with a strong win over Matthias Gamrot at UFC Rio last month, the former lightweight champion wasted no time calling his next shot. Standing inside the octagon, Oliveira turned his attention toward one of the sport's most beloved fighters, asking UFC executive Hunter Campbell to make a BMF showdown happen. "Hey, Hunter. Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway, BMF. Let's make that happen," he said with a grin, igniting instant excitement across the MMA world. For Oliveira, the issue isn't just about adding another belt to his resume. It's about legacy and redemption. The Brazilian star, who has long been one of the most entertaining and dangerous finishers in UFC history, believes that beating Holloway would re-establish his place among the elite and earn him another crack at the lightweight title. While attending APFC 20 in Milwaukee, Dubronx doubled down on his desire to meet Holloway, insisting that the matchup makes sense both for the fans and for his career trajectory. "I think I'll have the opportunity to fight for the BMF title now, and if I get past Max, I think I'll be the next title challenger again," Oliveira told reporters. "It's the perfect fight for where I'm at right now." It didn't take long for Max Holloway to respond, and he was quick to embrace the challenge. The reigning BMF title holder made it clear he loves the idea of running it back with Oliveira nearly a decade after their first meeting. "That's the fight I want. That's a fight a lot of people want to see. We have history. There's not too many people right now that people are considering BMFs. But on that very short list, Charles Oliveira is one of them. So you tell me I get to go out there and defend the BMF title again against a man who's very respected, who I have history with? I'm in.
Every time that fight gets brought up, he mentions the injury, so let's go figure it out for real this time. Their first meeting came all the way back in August 2015, when both men were still carving their paths towards superstardom. The bout ended abruptly just 99 seconds in, after Oliveira suffered a freak neck and shoulder injury, forcing him to withdraw and handing Holloway a first-round TKO win. Since then, both fighters have transformed into modern legends of the game. Holloway ruling the featherweight division for years, and Oliveira capturing the lightweight crown in 2021 while becoming the UFC's all-time submissions leader. Now, with Holloway holding the BMF title he earned by knocking out Justin Gaethje earlier this year, and Oliveira rejuvenated after returning to the win column, the timing couldn't be better for a rematch. A fight between two of the most aggressive and fan-friendly fighters in UFC history would be an easy sell, not only because of their history, but because of what's at stake. For Oliveira, it's a path back to championship contention and a chance to erase one of the few asterisks on his record. For Holloway, it's another opportunity to cement his reputation as one of the UFC's toughest and most respected warriors, a true embodiment of the BMF spirit. As of now, no official talks or contracts have been confirmed, but both sides appear eager. With Holloway expected to return early next year and Oliveira staying active and healthy, fans might not have to wait long to see one of the most interesting rematches of the next UFC season, a battle between two future Hall of Famers with everything to prove and nothing to lose.